Hey everybody, it's Josh Alexander from Orange County Housing Market News, your one-stop shop for all things Orange County real estate. So if you're thinking of buying or selling a home anytime soon and you've never checked out this channel before, this is a great place to start, so hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. On today's episode, I just want to take a few minutes to discuss a new report that was just released giving some updated information on both home equity as well as foreclosure and forbearance. These numbers blew my mind, so I have a feeling it's something you're going to want to know about as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so Black Knight, which is a leading data analysis company for mortgages in the United States, just came out with the quarterly update for information regarding home equity as well as how that impacts the forbearance and foreclosure market. And some of this information is completely mind-blowing and caught even me off guard. So I want to go over some of that information so you know exactly what is happening right now and how that's going to impact the market going forward. So at the beginning of April, when they released their quarter one update, they let everybody know that U.S. homeowners had more equity built up in their homes than any time in U.S. history. In fact, they estimated somewhere around $8.1 trillion of tappable equity that homeowners had in their homes. Now, over the last 3 months, another $1 trillion was added on top of that for a total of $9.1 trillion of tappable equity that homeowners now have. So just to put that in perspective, that's an average of about $20,000 of appreciation and tappable equity that you've seen from the last 3 months in the housing market throughout the United States. So if you're a homeowner who's been paying your mortgage on time, this is great news for you because you've been probably watching the market, watching your home appreciate like crazy over the last 12 to 15 months, and you expected some equity in your home over the last 3 months as well. So it's nice that we have some kind of data now looking at it and giving you a good average of what your home value might be now. But what about those people that haven't been able to pay their mortgages and might be going through that forbearance process and getting close to the end of the forbearance process, possibly looking at foreclosures? How does this giant amount of equity in their home impact them? So let's take a look at that. So again, let's go back to the quarter one report that Black Knight put out, and then we'll see how much progress we've made over the last 3 months. So when the quarter one report came out, Black Knight let us know that of all of the people currently in the forbearance program, only about 4% of those homeowners had less than 10% equity in their home. And I bring up this 10% number a lot in my previous episodes, and that 10% is important because if a homeowner has at least 10% equity in their home, that means they're able to take their house, put it on the market at fair market value, sell it, and either walk away with a profit in most cases, or at very worst, break even and not owe anything to the bank. So that just allows them to sell their house currently on the market at fair market value, not have to worry about going foreclosure, not having to worry about the bank repossessing their house. They can sell it and walk away relatively unscathed. So that 10% number is important. So again, in April, 4% of homeowners in forbearance had less than 10% equity in their home. Now, over the last 3 months, that number has been cut in half. So now we're only looking at about 2% of homeowners in the forbearance program that have less than 10% equity in their house. And to put that number in perspective, if you look at the height of the Great Recession, we had all mortgages, not just the ones in forbearance, but out of all the mortgages that were in the United States, 40% of them had less than 10% equity in their house. So again, this is just another number, another statistic out there to show you that this market that we are currently in right now is nothing like the market that happened back when the housing crash happened. We're in a completely different circumstance and a completely different economy than where we were back right before the housing crash. So for those people waiting for that crash to happen, again, the data is just not supporting that's going to be happening anytime soon. And that brings me to the last point, which I want to go over from Black Knight, and that is that yes, only about 2% of the people currently in the forbearance program have less than 10% equity. However, that is not the full picture. To get the full picture, we want to see how many people are not only in forbearance, but how many people, once you take into account all those missed payments they had, all the missed insurance payments, the tax payments, and when you put all the information together, how many of these homeowners have less than 10% equity in their house? Because that's going to give you a more realistic expectation on how many people might have issues going through foreclosures once they start exiting these forbearance programs, which many of them are going to start exiting in the next 45 days. So again, at the beginning of April, once you take into account all the information, only about 13% of all homeowners in forbearance had less than 10% equity in their house. So not a huge number, but it's definitely significantly higher than that 4% I talked to you about earlier when you're not factoring in things like the missed payments on there. So back in April, 13% of homeowners had less than 10% equity in their house when you take into account pretty much all the factors that go into a mortgage. Now, when you go to the latest quarter report, again, just like the other number, it was basically cut in half. So right now, we are now down to 7% of all homeowners currently in the forbearance program that have less than 10% equity in their house. Numbers wise, that means we're looking at right about 135,000 homeowners that currently don't have enough equity in their home and might have to eventually go through the foreclosure process if they can't figure out something with the bank. Now, again, I always like to put this into perspective. So if you look at the average foreclosures that happen every single year, let's look back from 2016 to 2019 to get a good average of what to expect in a typical year for foreclosures. We were averaging right around 293,000 homes every single year that went through the foreclosure process. So when you look at that and compare it to around 135,000 people that might go through the foreclosure process, you can see that we just don't have a significant number of people that are actually going to go through this foreclosure process. So again, those buyers out there that are hoping for this giant wave of foreclosures to hit the market sometime soon, the data just doesn't show that. And every time we get a new update, it's becoming more and more clear that, again, we're not going to see this giant wave of foreclosures hit the market. Now, I am expecting us to get even more data in the next 45 days or so once we start seeing more of these people exit the foreclosures, because that's going to give us some information of once they exit foreclosures, are they caught back up on their payments? Have they worked out payment plans with their banks? Have they paid off their loan? Have they sold their home? Or are they still in trouble with the banks? So we'll have some updated information on this in the next couple months. So make sure you stay updated by subscribing to this channel, because I'll update you as new numbers come out. But again, currently right now, based on the numbers, there's just not going to be a significant wave of foreclosures hitting the market. And those foreclosures that do hit the market take months to hit the market. So we're not going to see the majority of those really start impacting the market until probably around springtime of next year. So that's pretty much all I have for you today. Again, it was just a quick update because I thought this information was useful, and it was pretty crazy to see such a significant difference over the last 3 months in this data. So I wanted to make sure you know about it. So until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you in the next show. Bye.